It looks like it's 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Richard,
Here.
Cliff,
Here.
Harold,
Here.
David.
Here.
Report from the Hennessey Board, United Board.
Oh, Bert's not here. We haven't met since we had the, what do you call it, the red carpet night. And I thought we had a real, did we there?
No, I was not there.
Were any of y'all there? We had a pretty good showing too, I thought. But everyone had a good time. We had, Miss Oklahoma USA was there.
Ashley.
Yes. Mhm. And,
Relation?
Yes.
yeah. And-
It's Rose's sister, daughter.
Yeah, it was a nice event.
Okay. Number 1, consider approval of consent agenda. A, minutes of the May meeting. B, approval of claims as follows. May purchase order, $25,547.10. Number 2, June purchase orders, $36,116.18. Number 3, June RSTF, $1,895.70. Life EMS is $16,967.59. Number 4 is June Library Fund is 0. June Street and Alley Fund is 0. And Cemetery Care is $9,985. C, accept the following reports from Treasurer, Library, and Police.
Tiffany, that library care, that's kind of a higher number, isn't it?
What is?
The cemetery care, I'm just curious, I'm not.
That's for a new mower.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Do we have a police report?
Aaron is at their conference, so probably not.
If nothing else, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Citizens' comments? Town Minister's report.
I emailed you guys this afternoon, sorry. The report, the only thing I didn't put on there is where I'm at with the, food truck. I'm still working on the food truck stuff with the attorney, and, that's pretty much it. Oh, and we will have a special meeting on the 15th for budget at 6 p.m.
Is that when you need to have it approved? So you know, okay.
You said Wednesday at 6 p.m., correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Tiffany, can you very briefly tell us what the meeting is going to be about?
The special meeting?
Yeah.
It's the budget. It's so that we can review, discuss, and approve the budget.
Do we have to make changes in the budget?
I emailed it out to you. I think I've got it pretty well good.
Okay, that's for this coming year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And no new employees at this time, correct?
No.
Okay.
Well, the temporary employee at the library. We did get a summertime helper at the library. She started Monday?
Fantastic. That's good.
Ashlyn Kreitz.
Good,
So,
good. So
yeah.
Lindsay's got some help then.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
good. I'm glad to hear that.
She has somebody to allow her to go to lunch now.
Is it a children's librarian or just a
No,
helper?
just a temporary helper. We want to wait on the children's librarian until we get a director, because you want to make sure that the person you hire can work with the director. So,
Good point.
Thank you, Tiffany. Other scheduled business, discuss, approve, deny, reject, and/or take action on the following. A, discussion with possible action to approve the 2022-2023 school resource officer contract. That's in your handout.
It's the same contract as last year.
It should be right behind the admin report.
I know the school board is gonna put it before their board Monday night.
Who's that going to be off the police department?
Right now, we're looking at Christian Solis.
Oh, he'd be a good one.
But if we can't find another officer, Aaron may have to do that and the chief, so. But we've had advertised now for almost a month for a police officer, and we're not getting very good applications.
Did you see Kingfisher's officer ad?
I think so.
It was very lighthearted. It was well done. Maybe consider something like that.
So,
If anyone saw it, it was, I won't quote it, but check it out.
okay, I will.
Well, our benefits package is highly competitive, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, when we've been interviewing people at the library, we tell them the benefit package, and they're all very impressed with the benefit package.
But with the police officer, though, didn't we approve all their?
They are now on the police pension,
Mhm.
so I know Kingfisher's on police pension too, so.
I
And
seen,
Kingfisher pays a little bit more than what we pay.
I seen what Jack was talking about. I seen Kingfisher's application, so I can see why there's a difference.
The school resource officer will walk in the door at $20 an hour, right?
No,
Did I see that? Or where did I see that?
They
that's
did.
what we charge the school.
Oh, okay. I got that upside down. I'm sorry.
We only pay them, what, 18 an hour?
Yeah, or it's whatever our pay scale is for our police officers.
All right. None of our officers have put in for it.
Yes, Christian Solis.
Okay, I did not recognize that name.
I make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 school resource officer contract.
I'll second that.
Does he need to put who it is? Or is it okay?
Roll call, please.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
B, discuss with possible action to approve the agreement with Con Engineering for the engineering services for the CDBG grant project.
Someone has the colored map. I did all of this and was like, oh, hey, there's a map on it.
Oh. It
So
has the
yeah, someone has the colored map.
This is just pretty much what they're going to,
If someone wants to see it in color.
Now get me right, this is just, all, this is no labor, right? This is all just them coming in and actually just surveying, blah, 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 right?
I
The
got
flood
the
project.
colored one.
The second project is the flood, right?
no, this is
Here's the color.
preparing, this contract with them will be
Thank you.
to prepare the bids, to the whole bidding process. It'll also be to, once we award the bid, they'll help us award the bid. They do all of the paperwork for the bidding. They also review the project as it's going and making sure that the contractor is in compliance with everything. And then they do the final inspection to make sure that it is in compliance.
So will they work with us, or how's that work?
The engineer works with us, works with Jennifer, the grant administrator up at NODA, and then works with the contractor.
All All right. So does, like our code guy, will he be out there inspecting
No.
also, or?
No, our code guy does not do this part. That would be the engineer comes down and inspects those.
How come they're the only ones that ever give us bids on this?
This is not a bid.
Or-
I mean,
or-
That's because-
How come they're the only ones that are, that give, that we always see Cohen? is the only
Because
one?
we-
Is they the only one in business?
no. There's tons of engineers. But you don't want to go with every project, go to a different engineer, because these engineers, they kind of study your town, they become familiar with your town, and they're able to help us with a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, but I also understand part of when you get relapsed with a certain company, they also start giving to you in the bottom end. You know, the price is a little higher. I'm just asking questions.
I think they're very comparable to what we've paid in the past,
I mean,
and.
do we keep them honest is what I guess I'm trying to ask, you know? You know, it seems like everything's just repetition with the same company, same auditor, same everything all the way across the board. That's all I'm asking.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, we can go out for, but they've already initiated our project.
I'm fixing to make a motion to approve this, I'm just asking you a question.
But, but they know that competition is out there. I mean, just like you go to the OML conference, and how many engineers are at those OML conferences?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch.
Yeah, you know, that's,
And there's some that you don't want to do business with because they don't do stuff the proper way. But there's others,
but,
we were using a gentleman who was very sick, and it took us forever to get stuff done.
my only deal is I've been sitting on the board for years, and it's all basic, the same people, you know? And that's why I'm asking, you know, why do we keep using?
For your basic services such as engineering, accounting, and stuff like that, I would go to the same tax person every year.
Except if the IRS got you audited and.
Well, then yes. But they learn about you, they know about you, and they don't have to do the additional work required to start over with a brand new person.
Yeah, I'm just asking a question here. I make a motion to approve the agreement with Cohen Engineering for engineering service for the CBG grant project for $45,000. Is that what it was? Do I need to say that?
Did they put a 40?
How about somewhere
yeah.
I said the 25?
The basic, that's the basic fee schedule.
The basic, just, do I need to say that or what?
No, you don't have to put a number on
Make a motion to approve the agreement with Cohen Engineering for engineering services for the CDBG grant project.
that. And if I'm not mistaken, the 45.5 is 10%, and I think that all engineers, they go a percentage off of your project. And our project is about $450,000, so.
And I'll say with that. On these, it says Bert, should we just let Bert sign these instead of me?
We will probably wipe out his name and pictures and let them go ahead.
You have to have your autograph, sir.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
This is for you, John. Thank you for the copy.
Jack is special
Jack
tonight.
Special. C, discuss with possible action to review, amend ATV, UTV ordinance with the new state laws.
So in your packet, you have our current ordinance, which it was on my computer unsigned and everything. I didn't go look it up in the signed version. It was easier for me to just send this out. This is our current ordinance, and then also I put in the new state law, which is House Bill 2382. And in there, well, first of all, let me tell you why I had been contacted where I seen on Facebook where people were complaining that a county officer was pulling them over inside city limits and they had a city permit. So I checked into it and I found out that this new law that was passed in April of 21, I think April of 21, signed by the governor, that they call it, I can't remember, SLUT or something like that.
SLUV,
Yeah. What does that stand for?
state legal,
State legal
utility vehicle.
Anyway, so they've been pulling them over because with this new thing, an SLUV has, if it runs over 45 miles per hour, according to state law, they have to have a,
They have to become street legal.
yes, they have to become street legal, they have to get a tag at the tag agency and so forth. So but a lot of people think that they're good in city limits with just our permit. County officers and highway patrolmen can stop someone inside our city limits on any street if they see somebody doing something wrong.
But if you go by that, so nobody can ride a golf cart or anything down the street, anybody.
So we've got a problem because the county officer is stopping people inside our city limits and they don't understand. To me, it's an education thing. Know that yes, you can get a city permit and we're not going to stop you, but you still have to abide by the rules of, if a county officer decides to stop you or a highway patrol.
'Cause I've talked to the city of Guthrie today, in the city of Okarche, and they are not going to change their rules.
I understood the tipping point was 45 miles an hour. So a golf cart,
Ain't gonna ever reach
a
out.
golf cart that's not like souped up.
No, so
Yeah.
they're not required, a golf cart is not required to get that.
But by this, if they go, so it's actually up to that's what, how would you say this? I can be driving a Razor, if I don't go 45 mile an hour, does that mean that thing goes 45 mile an hour?
See, that was my question. As long as
Yeah,
ours
I mean-
stays in low gear, we will not go over
I can see
25 as long as we're in low gear.
I had a golf cart that ran 45 mile an hour, I actually ran 65 miles. Yeah, and,
Oh, you must have souped it up.
and,
I want to go play golf with you.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Track.
So, it's at an officer's discretion to say
Yes.
that your vehicle goes faster
I
than
agree,
45.
but I just want, to me, we don't have to change this. This is pretty much because, we have the paper here, we have Jack here with All About Hennessey. It's an education moment. Because they think that they are good inside our city limits with this permit. They're
Right.
good with our officers, but they're not good. They might not be good. I don't mean that they're not gonna be good. They might not be good with county and OHB.
That's what's weird about it, county don't hardly ever work our town that often,
One officer does.
Here lately, they've been.
That's why I was wanting to kind of see the police report, is because my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, the car show that brought us a lot of money to the town of Hennessey. We had the biggest black eye because
It was not it was highway patrol.
That's what I was fixing to say, but we called the highway patrol in.
Who called the highway patrol in?
Well, they are police. I'm just saying what I was told. I asked an
I
officer.
haven't heard
And
that.
that was one of the biggest black eyes I've seen. We have a car show, and then we call in the state police. The police are car show, and it looks bad to me.
Why would you say it looked bad?
Because they're pulling them over right and left.
They were giving
It was
tickets?
seatbelt tickets. They were giving seatbelt tickets.
You know, that's why I was wanting to see our police report, because I heard we wrote 20 seatbelt tickets. I mean, just what you hear, I don't go.
I'll get the log out for that day and I'll look at it.
You know,
Because I get the log every
you
day.
know, I seen Highway Patrolman from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock pull 4 people over. You know, that's one of the biggest shows in Kingfisher, Enid, and all that. And here we are giving ourselves a black eye to car shows. You know, I wouldn't come back. If you're gonna give me a ticket, I'm cruising around in a 1940 model car that don't have seat belts, and you give me a ticket for no seat belts, you're just pulling me over because you want to be a pain in the butt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks.
Oh, that was the first call I made.
You know,
I mean, it was the first call I
I asked
made.
Highway Patrolman why they were here, and they said because the town of Hennessey called us in.
Really?
So,
I'll have to find out
Yeah.
what that is.
you know, I ain't going over your head. I just, you know, I'm telling you what I was told, and it was by Highway Patrolman that told us. So,
Okay, I'll check into that because that was the first call I made because I just seen that it was being stopped and they said it was the OHP. And so we can't really
I mean,
do anything.
I ain't saying that we should go out and get crazy with our cars and be able to control it, but I think our police officers ought to be able to control it first, and then if we need help, call people in. You know, they showed up because they knew it was going to be a big payday for them, and they could make, to me, just to me, I'm saying that on camera, to me, that way they could make their revenue. And Highway Patrol would pull me over tomorrow and give me a ticket for no seatbelt. But I'm just saying that that's the way it looked to me, you know.
Were they given tickets or warnings, do you know?
They were giving tickets.
They gave me tickets.
They pulled one guy over for an hour up there at the 51 Express for an ACP because the beer can flew out of the back of his truck, or back of his Razor that was there from the night before. So they
So
were,
all of the tickets were done by the OHB?
well, if she can look and see what town of Hennessey gave.
They didn't have that on any of the reports that I received, Jack.
Yeah.
I mean,
OHP?
Yeah, Aaron said they didn't,
What do you mean?
they may have given a couple of tickets, but not a lot.
The
This town.
city? No,
Yeah.
we did not. It was OHP that came in and was giving seatbelt tickets.
That's, you know, to me, it kind of gave us a black eye before the car show even started.
Oh, I agree. I was not very happy.
But, I mean, so
But
we don't,
then we can't, I mean, they can show up and I will tell you, I think these police officers, they follow these car shows around too, these
right.
the OHP.
My only deal is I've talked to the county, and somehow, shape, or form, and if our sheriff is listening to us, I'd like to see the county and the town of Hennessey start working together instead of being.
I will tell you that I did call the sheriff and he's like in my boat too. We cannot tell our officers, and even as board members, you cannot tell your officers
Right.
to write tickets or to not write tickets.
Right.
If
But
they
I'm not-
find somebody breaking the law, it is their discretion. We cannot tell them.
And I understand that. My deal is how can we get a better working relationship with the county and our city?
I called the sheriff
Yeah,
and
'cause
he
you
called
called-
me back and he was very cordial. He told me his personal view, he doesn't like tickets at all for county. They only get $5 for every ticket they make. The county only gets that much.
Yeah.
For every one that they write, they only get $5. He said it's not worth our time.
I mean, like our county commissioner for this area, you know, it'd be nice to be able to call him and talk to him and have a working relationship with him instead of, no, I'm not gonna help you, you know? Or, you know, I'm just, you know, he hasn't said that, I'm just saying, you know, like one of our biggest problems with Mitchell Road out there from 7th Street to Exxon Road, the moles are killing it. And they got a mold machine, can we get them to come in there and fix that? Which I know that's off subject, but I mean, you know,
But, I mean, I did talk to the sheriff on this and it's not what he would like to see, but he cannot
but let's
tell.
go, back on the ATV deal, or UTV, why can't we get the policemen to pull these guys over, and why come we can't get a little $2 sticker to be putting on these ATVs?
We're going to we are working on putting
and-
stickers on them.
And make these guys, most of these guys would love it, they don't really care. I mean, yeah, they care, I guess. They don't want to pay $100 permit to be driving around, but, a little $25 sticker.
We're working on getting stickers, but I just want to educate it that we cannot control.
This is what's crazy. I've had more phone calls on this in the last 2 days since you put this out there than I have had on the library that was out there for almost a month.
Hey,
And I'll take my daughters and my kids off of it and tell you how many people have called me on this subject versus the library. And this shouldn't even be a concern to us like the library.
Well, I've got a couple of things I want to say on this topic. This is not the first time. You guys are ahead of me again. This is something that I was planning on bringing up in the very near future to go on the agenda and to discuss it. And so what you're doing here, or what we are doing here, not just you, Tiffany, you guys are, we're trying to put something down, vote yea or nay, and be done with it. I need more time on this.
no, I'm not telling you. This has already been approved. This right here is from 2013 is when we did this.
Okay.
It's already approved. This is what's in our books. My whole thing of bringing this up is education. We don't have to do anything with this.
My deal is, like I said, I like, my personal opinion, I don't mind the ATVs. But if you're gonna ride them, you ride them with respect, and you ride them by the curfew and the laws, You got motorcycles, dirt bikes running up and down the street. That shouldn't be out here. And it classifies that dirt bike, classifies that as a UTV, but what I'm saying is, when you hear complaints, the older generation thinks, because they're cruising around on a dirt bike out here, that all razors or side-by-sides are the same thing. It's just an off-road vehicle that they're looking at. I sit and watch the kids do wheelies down everybody's yard going down 4th Street.
See, and in order to drive these, on city streets, they have to be a licensed driver.
Right, but we don't enforce that.
Well, if I see it, I call it into the police department.
I called in one time, police officer never showed up.
So, well, I'd like to hear those times too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because that's,
He sat right there on 4th and Arapahoe and ripped around up and down that road, and then right there at 4th and Arapahoe, that bank goes up pretty high, and you can launch a vehicle about 20 feet up in the air if you get it at good speed, and that's not his land. I know who owns the land, and I called the sheriff, or I called the police department, and they never showed up at that place.
was this recent?
Oh,
So when was it? And I'll go back and look.
it was in April.
In April, okay.
I sit out there because the motorcycle don't have, he rips up and down 2nd Street. You can hear him when he fires up.
Because I can go back and look, they send me the daily logs. So
I can tell you who I even talked to, but I don't need to.
Yeah. No, I can just go back. You told me April, so I can go back and look for that and to talk to Aaron.
I didn't talk to Aaron, I talked to the dispatcher.
No, but I can talk to Aaron about this call was never addressed.
Yeah, I sit out there in the yard, I go to sleep at 7, 8 o'clock at night if there ain't nothing on TV. And I sit out there and listen to that till 10 o'clock. There wasn't nothing, but I was going to tell the officer what they were doing, and nobody ever showed up, so I finally went to bed. I'm getting old where I get cranky too.
Well, I wanted to, like I said a minute ago, I want to say a couple of things on this. And some of the problems that me and my family have is, we're seeing a lot of stuff down 2nd Street and up and down Oak Street. I live on the corner, and I was even actually wondering if we had an ordinance that covered the vehicles that we're talking about. And, you know, and I'm not saying it, you know, it's anybody's fault or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff going on them streets down there that I know is illegal. And I'm catching a lot of it on my own personal security cameras. I have not called the police because a lot of the problems are generated by my neighbors. And I don't want to call the police on my neighbors unless it gets so bad that I have to, you know what I'm saying? So far, I've decided to live with it, but I am getting tired of it. Noise, I want to talk about noise. Music, loud music. I'm sorry?
It's not on the agenda, so we gotta,
I'm talking about UTVs.
oh, the music on the UTVs?
Right, yeah. I'm
There's
not
some
talking
of
about, I'm not talking about,
got sound bars and.
I'm not
and
talking
drive you
about
up.
my neighbor's music coming from their house. I'm talking about music coming off these ATVs, UTVs, and whatever else they're driving. And it's to a point where it bothers me, and I know it bothers other people too, because there's a lot of people that live down there that have to put up with that. So, like I said, I was gonna bring this topic up, UTV stuff up for the board in the very near future. And you guys beat me to it, and that's okay.
See, here's where here's where to me where a lot of the problem lies. You have a group out there that don't know about the permits, that they gotta have the permits to drive the deals down. And I don't know how, even with the cameras on, how you're gonna educate them people, because they probably don't pay attention to this, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want, it's the ethnic background that they're coming from, you know? Like over there in my part of the neighborhood, there's 4 or 5 of them that run that street every day, and I know none of them got a permit, because I've asked them if they've ever permitted in the town of Hennessey. You have to have a permit to run that. Oh, that don't bother me now, you know? You know, so I don't know how you address that to the public.
Well, and that's why we've
Without
decided to
pulling them
go
over.
with stickers. Because then that way the officers can verify that year, they have one for that year.
You know, I don't care if they buy it in December, they gotta get a sticker for 2022, you know? If they have to pay the $50, they pay the $50 or whatever it is, you know? If, you know, I think they ought to do it every year.
They're supposed to. So that's why we talked about the different stickers.
And that's the thing it is, you know, for a long time, I've talked to Ed, I've talked to Aaron about it. Nobody knows what the law is on this, as far as when they can drive them and when they can't drive them.
This
Yeah.
says during daylight hours.
But, you know, it was before, yeah, this is what this is.
No, this says.
Yeah, okay.
This was
But-
passed in 2013.
But our chief couldn't tell me that, you know? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they didn't know whether, you know, I was told by the chief, or Ed, that it was like a motorcycle license. 14 and under having a motorcycle license. Well, it's pretty close, but, you know, it's 30 minutes after, you know, before sun, you know, but like this morning, what do you call in daylight? I was out on the road at 5 o'clock this morning, it was daylight.
Well, daylight hours,
Yeah, it's a half an hour
before
for
sunset.
sunrise and a half hour
yeah.
after sunset.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
So, but that's why you have, if you look on your, like, the weather app and different things, it tells you what time sunrise is and what time sunset is.
Because like the instance that you're talking about when highway patrolman or the county officer pulled them people over, yeah, I was hit up about it. Man, I'd rather ask them a ticket, plain and simple. They were out after dark. They knew the rules. I'm just saying, they knew the rules.
Well, and also that officer did tell Aaron that he had seen them earlier on county roads, and so, you know.
But that's what I'm saying, you know, they know the rules, you know. There ain't none of them that's come and got a permit that don't know the rules. I didn't study them until the last 24 hours, because I don't have a side-by-side, you know?
I don't either. so.
You know, but, you know, I think, because the way the state law comes, the town of Hennessey can't even get one to use.
No. Well, we would have to make sure that it was street legal.
Yeah. But that, I mean, they could do the same thing, make their street legal, you know?
Well, hey, I told my mom
But my
that
deal
she's
is,
gotta
but-
put, she has blinkers, but she's gotta put something else on it to make it.
but my deal is, I'd rather take
Is it,
the,
we're gonna
It's
spend like $600.
blinkers and then. I
they
think
gotta have
they
tail light, headlights, and they gotta have blinkers,
And
and
they gotta have rearview mirror, the mirrors.
they gotta have street tires, DOT approved tires. And so, you know, like I said, but that's another subject, but, you know, you go see they passed this, but you go in the back and they're talking about.
Well, that's all, the whole house, I mean, the
Yeah,
whole
I
thing that
know,
was
yeah.
passed, so.
Yeah, but when you go to reading that, I'm thinking, all right, 50 pages into this, I'm still reading about,
Oh, I know, I was reading it too, I was like.
we're talking about trailer houses.
They're talking about travel trailers.
So, so we're not gonna vote on this? This is just something that.
No, I really wanted it as an education piece.
But, you know, and I'll say it, guys that got the side-by-sides, get with the town of Hennessey, get your permit, know your rules, you know, and drive in a reasonable manner, you know, and if you get pulled over, be courteous to the cops.
Agreed.
And, you know, you won't have a problem. If you're raising it, like yesterday, there's an ATV, it's Can-Am blue, by the way. You go 70 down Mitchell Road all the way to 51. Your ass ought to be in jail. That speed limit over there is 20 mile an hour all the way down Mitchell Road from 7th Street to, I don't know who the guy is, but he ought to be in jail. You know, reckless driving all the way through there. Be reasonable. And there ain't none of them not gonna,
And when they come down 7th Street
oh. Yeah, I don't wanna be a D, but, you know, our cop can sit at 7th and Mitchell Road and get their quota for a month, just on that stop sign. I'll say that on camera.
We don't have quotas. We don't have quotas.
Yeah. So, next subject.
But I'm glad that you brought this up. This is really something that really needed to be brought up because I did not know about, you know, ATVs and, you know, I thought you had to have insurance and a license.
You do.
You do.
You gotta be 16 years of age, and you gotta have a
According to our
current copy
ordinance.
of insurance on hand here at the city office, right? You're supposed to take a copy of their insurance, right?
And the police department.
Good. Of course, it goes as far as when they give a permit to it, the chief of police has to inspect that.
Or his designee.
Or designate.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, that was a kind of a neat deal, but I mean, but I don't think we ought to really, we're a little bit bigger than Old Carson. And by the way, they do have a good, awesome website, you know. Does our police department have that?
Our police department does not have its personal website, no.
Maybe something Jack can help us with.
We have a town website and they have a page on our website.
Is that way Old Carson set up?
I don't know, I haven't looked at their website. So Angie Bruner, she manages our website.
It's pretty cool, I'm just thinking, you know,
Well, here's what I'd like to do. I mean, you know, like I was saying earlier, I want to review this new act, this new law, and I may ask you guys to talk about this again in a future meeting. I want to look and see what the law is, and I already know what my neighborhood is like, and I want to compare the two and see how they line up. And if they don't line up real well, I may, you know, propose that we take some form of action to make the rules a little stricter, or whatever else anybody comes up with as an idea that try to help improve what's going on.
big thing.
Well, I know you don't want to call, but I mean, an officer cannot be in all places at all times.
Big thing is
So-
education, you know. If you're riding, if you're under the age of 16, you're riding a dirt bike, your parents shouldn't let you rip down the streets of town of Hennessey.
You're not supposed to be driving anything on the
You know,
streets
but I'm
at
just
that
saying,
age.
but you know, we are a small town, you know, and it's, I've talked to the officers, you know, mainly chief, the old chief, and he said that, you know, man, if I pull, you know, if I pull up behind a kid that's just easing down the road, not doing nothing, he's come from the country riding, I'm not gonna give him a ticket, he's going home, you know, which, you know, I can see that in a small town, but I also do know that I was young once.
But
The
see,
cop's
that
not away,
cop-
I'm doing a wheelie off.
So they might be easing down the street with the cop behind them, but I don't think, they might not be when they're out of sight.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to D. I appreciate all the discussion. Would like to hear some feedback from the town, that'd be great. Discussion with possible action with surplus items for auction sale next month through the Purple Wave auction. So there is a list of items in your packet.
Yes.
But that's the only thing that we're selling? Didn't we, I thought we had some guns that we needed.
Okay, so Purple Wave does not do guns.
Okay.
So the guns we did surplus last month, those will be going through somebody else.
What about the car, the pavilion stuff? We decided to keep that, or are we gonna, that another subject, or what?
I think that will be at a later time
Okay.
subject.
I make a motion to take action to surplus items for auction sale next month through Purple Wave auction.
I'll second that.
I will tell you, because, got a second so I can talk. I will tell you that Purple Wave has a government auction every 2 weeks. And so if we decide to do more stuff or the pavilions or whatever, they do an auction for governments every 2 weeks. And their auction service is free to government agencies, so.
Are they in Oklahoma City?
It's a national company.
National? Kind of like Ritchie Brothers.
Yeah, more or less the same thing.
Harold, did you get a second on that?
Yes, you.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
you.
Roll call, please.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Moving on to new business. Any matter not known to which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting agenda in accordance with the section 311-9, title 25 OS.
I have one. Since Jack's got the tape ready, Cliff, could you talk about what the Methodist Church is?
This
isn't new business.
Yeah,
This would not be new business.
No, that,
I can't,
no.
I thought it was just,
Because new business would be something that occurred between the time that we posted the agenda and now, and
Okay.
we weren't able to get it on.
That's
Kind of
right.
like an emergency
Okay.
kind of thing,
I
so,
just wanted to talk about what they've done and what they're going to
sorry.
plan. Okay.
Try it under citizens'
Do I have to
comments.
put that on the agenda or how?
You can put that under citizens' comments as long as there's no action to be taken,
Right.
or, but that's it.
Okay.
What about here?
We've got citizen
That's not
comments.
really- Councilperson would be
No, I
like.
can, is that the, now can I bring it up?
Yes, yes.
Now you can.
Yes.
I'm a slow
It's
learner.
part of the
That's
state,
okay.
it's part of the state laws.
Yeah. I tell you, there's a lot of them when it comes
Yes.
to open meetings.
Yes.
I ran into Cliff this afternoon or late morning, and I told him I was going to do this because I see so many kids playing at the park. Just all the time, there's kids playing. You've accomplished a lot, and you have some plans. And since Jack's rolling the tape, if you could talk about it,
Okay.
so the community of Hennessey would know.
What happened was is we acquired the property and we took down the house and we thought, what can we do for Hennessey? And so we said, well, we'll make a playground. We started with the volleyball court, and then we wanted a playground so people could come and just be relaxed and they don't have to worry about being by the highway. And so the church got together, and after a 3-year plan, this is what we have. We have a 0 to 5 playground. We have a 5 to 12 playground with a swing and a tsunami. And in future, what we're going to do is we're going to put on a new thing called a pickle court. I don't know if you know what a
Yeah.
pickle court
Oh,
is.
yeah.
But
Pickleball.
we're going to play pickleball. But that's going to be another stage. But right now, this is where we're at right now, and just with what's going on now. there could be some other things online down the line with this property, so.
I'm gonna put in a pitch. You've asked for donations, and I thought since the whole community is enjoying that part, that the community ought to be aware that you need some financial help to complete everything you've got, and any donation would be appreciated.
Yes, it would be, and that's how this has all been about, just all by donation,
Mhm.
so. And it's been over like $150,000 we've put in it so far,
From donations.
donations. It's really nice how we
It's
just,
it's a really good little park.
It is.
so, thank you.
150,000, wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was about 60,000.
Each little,
Just the volleyball court by itself was 20,000,
Uh-huh.
and then the lighting was 20,000.
and then the playground pieces.
$100,000 for the
Oh,
playground.
yeah.
It's-
Playground equipment is expensive.
But, you know, you only see like 2 cars there, but there'll be like 20 kids playing. So it's
They're
people
walking.
in the neighborhood that didn't have someplace to go, they have someplace to go now. And hopefully we made it a safe place to
Well,
be.
I took 4, my 2 nieces and my 2 nephews, and I had to use the bathroom, and I'm like, I feel safe with you guys here. I'm gonna walk next door to the police department, use the bathroom. I can still see you. But I felt safe leaving them there.
That's probably something that we need to do, is we need to have a potty.
Yeah.
Councilperson's report. David?
I mentioned a few meetings back, I talked about traffic cameras, and I promised you guys some research on them. What I found is the state legislature is working it as we speak. So I think that we should just drop the topic for now and see what comes out of the State House. If they disapprove them, we'll be in good shape. If they approve them, I may do some more research and ask you guys to consider them. Okay, that's all I have on that.
Harold?
I'm good.
That's the kind of stuff. Richard?
Here, right?
One question I have is how are our signs coming?
I
noticed-
called Caleb, today, I called Caleb because I was wondering the same thing, because I went out to the cemetery and it's come back and I was like, oh, the sign. So I called Caleb because I thought our next step was the electricity. Well, he informed me, no, we're waiting on the sign, so then we can mount the meter base behind the sign, on the back side of the sign. So I called Terrell, and we played phone tag for a little bit, and then I just messaged him because I thought, I'm never gonna get it. So he messaged me that they've been, with it being wet and stuff, that they've had some backup issues, and so like he has one job in front of us and then it will be us.
Okay.
But where the sign on the west, because this would be the west sign and the south sign, we still have to get OG&E to run to figure out the electrical on the north sign, and then we're waiting on construction on the east sign, the road construction. So it may be a year before we can get the east
On the
sign.
north side sign, where are you putting it?
It's the current blue and white sign.
Okay, that's what I was gonna suggest, because that's like
Yes.
going to be, when Scotty's done, that's the edge of town.
Yes.
Way out
Mhm.
there, not
Yes.
up closer. Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Yes.
How's this gonna work with what we approved with him last month?
He's just gonna help facilitate stuff.
Yeah, it's time for me to call Terrell and say, come on.
I know, he is,
Well,
because I
I'm
called
doing
him
the
today.
other stuff too. The other signage and those kind of things.
Oh, well, I think he was waiting on us.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that Jock's gonna help us with, is creating where we want the way signs, what we want on them, and stuff like that. That's what Jock's gonna help with.
I'll present, is Bert back the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, at the next meeting, I'm gonna do.
Not the 15th, but the next regular meeting.
Right. I'm planning on doing my wonder list. If all the stars align, this is what I would like to do, kind of thing. And then, of course, we're gonna whittle that down to more realistic things, but that's what I'm hoping for next month.
So, but the west sign, I guess where we ended up, we had to shift the poles a little bit. And so when he put when Daniel's Construction put those up, now Terrell was telling me that his truck is underneath the electrical line. And so, or it's right underneath an electrical line, so now we're gonna have to get back with OG&E and see if they can open it up where we can place the sign and then put the electrical line back, so that's what I found out today too. So, seems like I just keep getting into, like,
Push it back.
yes, so.
Well, thank you, appreciate that.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Harold,
Yes.
Cliff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, Town of Hennessey Utilities Authority Board of Trustees, regular meeting, June 9th, 2022, at Town Hall. Roll call, please.
Richard,
Yeah, here.
Cliff,
Here.
Harold,
Here.
David.
Here.
Number 2, consider approval of consent agenda. A, minutes of the meeting. B, approval of the claims as follows. May purchase orders, $19,219.72. June purchase orders, $51,920.14. June vendor deposits is 0. Treasurer's report. Any corrections or that we need to do for the consent agenda? If not, I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, number 3, citizens' comments.
Where are they all at?
Barb,
Packed out
nothing?
last time.
Yeah, we was back. I was hoping to have somebody here. I was really,
We need to
Well,
get some of
thank
those,
you. Some-
we need to get some of those cardboard people.
carport.
There we go.
There we go. But everybody would be on the back row. We'd only be on the back row, so. 4, other scheduled business, discuss, accept, approve, deny, reject, and/or take action on the following. A, discussion with possible action in the status of the water plant RO project. David.
Well,
Do you want me to give a status report?
yeah, are you gonna go over the Gantt chart real quick? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, we sent out a notice to proceed on May 16th. We were waiting till it got a little bit closer so we knew that when product and stuff was going to be coming in. So we just, May 16th, we issued the notice to proceed because they've supposedly got confirmation on when stuff is gonna be delivered. And then the construction will be completed by November 12th. The RO membranes, they arrived on March 1st and are being stored at Worth Hydrochem's facility until the RO unit arrives. The RO unit is supposed to be here on June 27th. So, but fingers crossed that it comes then. Also, we've been working with DEQ on the bypass because we will have to bypass the plant when they're doing this. We're also working with the company that's gonna come and clean our storage tank and repaint it so that we can get this done during all of this time also, so that we have minimal bypass time. We don't wanna have to bypass during the RO exchange, and then a month down the line have to bypass again for the painting of the tank. So we're trying to get everybody to work together. When we do the RO replacement, that required downtime is at least a week. But to paint the inside of the tank and clean it, it's gonna take at least 4 weeks because you have to make sure that the paint cures. So it is going to be down, but we will be doing notifications, and then we're also working with DEQ on exactly what notifications we need to do. We're also gonna have to do daily testing And weekly, I think we're gonna have to take weekly tests to a certified lab. So there are some things that we're going to have to do while this is down. I don't know exactly the plant. We do have a equipment replacement schedule, but this is like my 5th one I've received.
Yeah.
So it is like a moving schedule that I sent out to the board members. I don't know if I sent it out to you guys or not. I did.
I probably got it, I haven't.
So, but just know that this is not in concrete, that this is still moving because like I say, this is like my 4th one.
Now, when you say you're replacing an RO unit, is that one of those entire skids?
Yes,
So the one that's like rusty and cockeyed is the one?
the one that's cockeyed, yes.
Okay.
They're both rusty, and I think that that's David's concern too, is the other one, because it is rusty. We have went in and we've painted it to try to get it to stay okay until we get this actual replacement that we have to do done.
And then focus on that for later.
Yes, I will say that when they drilled holes to see what's underneath the concrete, they did find a pretty big cavity. And so now they're gonna have to cut out the concrete actually to see exactly how big the cavity is. And then they will pump concrete or whatever. I think it's not exactly concrete, it's
It's like a slurry.
like a insulating thing, yeah, underneath there to make sure that it's good.
Okay, and I wanted to, thanks for talking to me the other day about this stuff, and you made it a lot easier for me to understand. And the main takeaway that I got out of your office the other day was that we're not only gonna work the RO that's tilted like we just talked, but when that's done, we're gonna be able to move over to the other RO and work that
Yes.
rusty rack.
Yes.
Okay.
We're hoping, because right now we do have funds left, like $80,000 left out of our loan. We're hoping, I'm not quite sure with the big gap underneath the concrete, how much we're gonna have to spend additional for that, but we're hoping that there's going to be enough where we can go in there and replace that, just the rack.
Okay, we have 2 contractors, one to paint the tank and one to do the RO repairs.
Correct.
Okay. And they'll be basically separated by their contracts and legalities, et cetera, et cetera. They won't be helping each other or anything like that.
Oh, no, they do 2 different,
Okay.
completely different
Very
types of
good.
work.
Thank you very much. I got the amendments on the cavity. Okay, I think that's it. That answers, that answers all of my questions.
Okay. Are we gonna separate where we have a valve shutting one RO off
Yes,
versus the other?
yes, they are.
All right. Now, my other question is, back to that rusty rack on the other one. I'm sitting here as a board member, and all I've heard is past administration, blah, blah, this and this. I know that rack is not very good.
I agree, it's not.
So why aren't we fixing that now instead of waiting 2 years down the road?
Because
I didn't understand.
in order to fix,
Fixing what?
the rack.
The rack that the other RO's on,
Oh, okay.
Because right
it's all
now,
rusty up,
right now, it's our only one that's running.
right? But once we fix that one, we could start on that other one.
That's what we're gonna do.
But we didn't say that. You didn't say that. As soon as this one's fixed, we're gonna immediately start on this one here and get that fixed.
Okay, so define immediately because,
Not 2 years down the road.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I approved that RO plant a year and 2 months ago, and we're just haven't get started on it
Well,
yet.
you know,
I'm just saying,
I would have
uh,
liked for it to been done, actually, it was approved
Yeah,
a year ago because we
'cause-
shut it down a year ago.
Because when we first
But-
said it, this was an emergency deal, we need to get this done before summer, and nothing's happened.
But we had to get, okay, a year ago, we shut it down.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a year ago May.
Right.
So we shut it down. We had to go find funding.
My deal is, if that other
So then, once we find funding, then we have to go through all the contractual things of setting out for bid. You have to set it out for bid for 21 days, then when you come back, and then you have to approve it. and different things like that. It takes time. This is, government
And
entities,
I-
there's a
and I-
lot of red tape.
And I understand, my problem that I have is that if that rack collapses, because we all know it's rusty, we put a coat of paint on it. That didn't take care of the rust, all right? My deal, if that thing collapsed and it cost the Hennessey another $250,000 to fix it, when we could have fixed it while we're down.
But we're not down.
But we're shutting the plant down. You know, we're bypassing that plant, you know,
But
and,
we want them to mainly focus
Where are we
on
gonna come up
getting
with
that
that?
new,
but where are we gonna come up with extra money if that RO does come down? Because you say, because just what you're just telling me, about what your report shows, there's a cavity underneath that whole concrete slab.
there is.
So,
Well, I don't know how big it is.
and none of us know until you open it up.
Yes.
So naturally, that's giveaway, is gonna give away underneath, is probably gave away underneath that one. You know, how sturdy is that rack gonna be once we firm that up? When we got a rusty old rack here and you kick that high dollar pump on and it vibrates the ground and it collapses that already.
Well, the whole thing is we're running off the one that we know is better
Right.
than the other one.
Right.
So that's the one we're running off of.
My only
As soon
deal-
as we get this new one up and going, that one would only have to be used in emergency situations. So we're not gonna have to, we're gonna be able to isolate it.
But
So then we're gonna be able to go in there and fix that. Right now, we really can't fix it.
my deal is, why you're bypassing that plant, why can't we fix it right now?
Because what
So
if
we're
our
talking
nitrate,
about-
I
we're
got
talking
a
about-
question.
We're
I got a
talking about the
question.
middle of construction that,
What if our nitrates get really high and we've gotta kick on something?
but you ain't gonna do that till you get that valve replaced. Once you get that RO set up in there. Because right now, it's gonna combine together,
That's the first thing, that's one of the first things they're gonna do.
so, that we know.
Will the other one be, will the one that's running now, will it be able to be brought online quickly if our nitrates,
Yes.
even during the shutdown,
Mhm.
if needed be?
Not if that isolation valve ain't in there.
But they're putting an isolation valve in
That's the
there.
first thing they gotta do.
Yes.
Before they do anything.
Yes.
Okay.
They gotta put that valve in there or it's gonna run right through the other one and you're gonna
Yes.
have a big mess. But if they tear in that deal and that over there's nothing underneath that concrete, you know, we're in a bind if we're trying to rely on that one RO.
Part of the.
I know, Harold, that you have just wanted to do that RO, I mean, both ROs at the same time. This, with the engineers and all of that, this is their recommendation to do it like this.
My deal is in 5 to 10 years, I don't want to spend another $500,000 fixing that other RO when we can help, you know, it's called preventive maintenance.
Well, I'm telling you, as long as I'm here, it's gonna be done right after.
Yeah.
An observation I made, I was in Stillwater's about a year ago, and their rack is made out of stainless steel,
Yeah,
and ours is steel.
right.
And I imagine there was a significant price difference between, you know, one that'll work really well or one that'll last 100 years. And I think that's might be where we're at with this. that-
And, you know, I'm not suggesting that I have a way to fix it. I'm just saying that, you know, while we're bypassing the plant and doing this, we have the other rack ready to put in there.
But it's not gonna be, I mean, we can't just have a rack and put in there. We're gonna have to figure out how to piece that thing around the piping and stuff too.
Why? If it breaks and you take it loose now, that pipe's no good.
But we're only talking about the metal, not the pipe.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I know you can get lifts in there and you can structure that up and move that rack out underneath there and put the other one in there.
It's gonna be pretty much building a rack underneath there.
So, that's what I'm asking is, why ain't we looking, that to me ought to be just as major as the other one to prevent future disasters.
I mean, if you guys wanna find another, amount of money right now, I mean,
But that one rack wouldn't cost us near as much now as it would a whole RO system.
that's why we're gonna do it right after, because we're gonna see how much money we have left over.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
We'll go to 5, new business. Any matter that not known which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting of the agenda in accordance to the section 311-9, Title 25 OS. Citizen comments? Councilperson's report? David?
No, sir.
Harold?
No.
Richard? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All, roll call?
Cliff,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.